essentially scaling a patented technology that follows the sun and generates 40% more power from a solar panel than you would sitting on a fixed surface like a roof. You know, for the first 13 years of our life, we put solar trackers in the ground all over New England, helping power residences, small businesses, colleges, universities, healthcare institutions, and then had the eureka moment 2 years ago, trying to figure out where this patented technology could be used to solve the world's next great challenge, which we rapidly realized was the huge delta between EV charging demand and supply. And so we got our engineers going on designing Apollo, which is this groundbreaking off-grid solar EV charging solution that actually produces enough power to really keep EV drivers happy. Solaflect's work in 3 states, in Massachusetts, in Vermont, and in New Hampshire. And you'd see it in over 1,300 locations. And you would see trackers mounted in the ground primarily that are following the sun all day long, producing that 40% more power. In the last 2 years, you'd begin to see it in commercial parking lots. So Dartmouth, Middlebury, Williams College, pretty great brand names, all are powering EVs and their employees commute directly from the sun. So this is all the beta testing we've done out here close to home so we can watch it, make sure it's working great, service it great. And now we got a bunch of happy customers and EV drivers who are happy to talk about it. Where do we need to go now? Well, you know, where all the EV drivers are. The West Coast will be happier for 3 reasons. One, you have 50% more sun. That's not a small thing. Two, 25% of the folks buying, cars are buying EV. And three, the price of electricity where you live is through the roof. And, we're producing power for as little as 7 cents a kilowatt hour.
It's the tracking mechanism. So the fact that it's constantly tracking a dual axis.
Dual axis tracking means that solar panels are following the sun both in azimuth and elevation, meaning so they're pointed right at the sun all day. And when you just point at the sun in one axis, you'll get 20% more power than you would on a fixed surface like a rooftop or a fixed panel in a field. You do it in 2 axes, you're going to get a full 40%. That's a really big number. Right. So put very simply, we have 16 solar panels on our Apollo solar EV charger. I would need 23 panels on a roof, right? 23 of those same panels on a roof to do the same job if it were placed perfectly south facing and at the right angle. But it could be as much as 30 panels on a roof if the roof were more of an east-west angle, right? So the efficiency of material to generate as much power as possible does drive a significantly higher ROI in an environment like an EV charging, a commercial space environment. The simple square footage of 4 parking spots, right? Above those 4 parking spots, you can produce 16,000 kilowatt hours of power a year, which, at a 4-to-1 ratio is 64,000 miles a year. Right. So just think about the square footage and the power per square foot, if you will. That in itself is a pretty unique solution. Classic situation, commercial property manager excited about putting EV charging at a property. They've been deep into it now for months, and they're finding that in fact, they just can't get it done. Right? It's infrastructure challenges, it's utility challenges, it's permitting, you name it, it's a mess. One of the biggest challenges we keep hearing about is that the burden of simply getting the darn project across the finish line, and it's a project, not a product, is all of the ridiculous American burden. You go to Australia, you don't have this, right? But in our country, we built in all these layers of approval. In California alone, we've heard it's from 2 to 4 years to simply from start to finish to get a commercial or even maybe not commercial, but an EV charging grid-tied installation done. We'll probably turn something in a month and install it in a day because we don't deal with the permitting, we don't deal with the infrastructure upgrades, we don't deal with the utility, we don't have any of that kind of stuff. It's the simplicity of the process that makes this so much more amenable.
Apollo is a product solution. It's not a project. A project comes with all the variables, right? And we never know what the project's going to end up costing and how long the project's going to take to get done. We already know all the variables with the product we have. We're simply deploying it. We don't even like to use the term installing it. It's simply deployed on the property, and we can do that within generally a day, and it's up and running. So it's not cutting into concrete. We're not running conduit. We're not doing all the typical things you do with a project, and we're not dealing with the permitting office and the AHJs and all these things. It's a self-contained turnkey solution that is simply deployed in the parking lot. And the
But
customer,
if I'm the head of facilities, I've got to spend the better part of a year or 2 years managing a project. There's cost to that, like big cost. We talk to hospitals and schools a lot, and they're like, the core issue here is we got to educate kids and we got to get patients healthy. Well, putting in EV charging is so way off on the side. That's not important. It's not mission critical. The nature of what we do isn't a project. It's just here's a product. We'll install it for you. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to manage it. You don't have to service it, maintenance it, any of it. But nobody talks about the cost of all of that management. That's real. So we're able to eliminate that, and that's an education thing. Most people get it.
back in, but you got to look at it critically and go, who knows what they're doing? Who has the IP, the engineers, the staff, and the deep pockets to weather the storms, right? And the storms can be environmental or mostly policy or political, like we're going through now. But who will be around in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and look at it from a risk profile, right? Look at it like an investor, right? Because it's an investment. So that's what Autel means to me, is it's a partner that I believe will be around for the life of the unit.
We value very deeply brand, right? We work like hell to develop a strong brand. Of our new business comes from happy customers who tell their friends. It's the cheapest marketing out there. And why? Because we just focus on making sure our stuff works. Finding a brand partner who feels the same way is immensely powerful. Autel has been a partner that's thinking the way we are and willing to spend the time to kind of stretch their boundaries a little bit to go, oh, we can do this differently to meet your needs. This is a big opportunity.
Ability. Yeah. Autel is bankable, right? We want to be bankable. We want to be associated with that. When a consumer is spending X amount of thousands of dollars quite often to deploy this technology in a parking lot, a home, or a roof, right? How bankable is that investment, right? So that's another thing I think would make Autel a great partner, and that's why we the only partner we're with, right? So
The Appalachian Trail Club, right, is really intrigued about putting these at trailheads. There is no three-phase, let alone power at all, out at a place where I'm going to park my car, go hike for 3 days, come back. Classic example. I mean, there are hundreds like that. I mean, we're talking to the CEO of Rivian about this because he's like, oh, really interesting. You guys can actually, you figured this out. You can actually go charge my adventure branded vehicle out at a place where normally they wouldn't be able to find it. These unique remote locations where the grid is not accessible or might be, but it's just outrageously expensive is a game changer. One of the most exciting next steps is putting Apollo on a trailer so that it now is a mobile power solution, right? A mobile power generating solution that just doesn't exist right now, right? Completely off grid. We've got movie sets and studios that are excited. We've got any number of different angles. And so we're in rapid engineering design process to take the exact same technology, redesign so that it can fold down, be employed really quickly with big outriggers to provide stability, and take it on the road and provide it, mobile generating power for anybody who needs preppers on one extreme and entertainment venues and you name it. The fleet charging opportunity is enormous. And all that requires really is a big battery storage associated with Apollo because the fleets are out busy during the day and they need to charge at night. We just need to put 100+ kilowatt hour batteries sitting next to Apollo and we generate the power all day and the fleets come back at night. So those are two big angles that we're working on. We want happy customers and they tell their friends.
People want to do different things. Well, they're going to want to be able to charge, e-mobility devices, GPUs, and I think that there's going to be more of that request coming.